The judge is supposed to make a decision. I mean, somebody said, well, Ronald, does that, I mean, somebody asked me, you don't have to comment. As they say, well, does that mean that the party can call and tell the judge, well, you know, my friend's coming before you?
And that's the fear that people have when politics is interjected into the judiciary. If I recall, one of the people that's running for the Supreme Court, Aurelia Paczynski, I think she's one of those that indicates that she thinks that there should be nonpartisan elections for judges. And then you have other people there that's running for the Supreme Court that feel as though it should be merit selection. But my issue with merit selection is, well, who are the people that's going to be on the committee determining who's going to be a judge? But, you know, I understand exactly how you feel. And I think a lot of people are feel as though the judiciary now has become politicized. And that is becoming problematic for some people, because people do feel as though others get a phone call.
Yeah, I would wonder, you know, in an ethics class at John Marshall or one of the Northwestern or one of the law schools, in ethics, is that question coming up? You know, how ethical is it for a party to endorse a judicial candidate?
That might be a good bar exam question.
Really?
You never know.
Speaking of, I wanted to ask Judge Reddick earlier about that bar. She said she was a 7-Eleven, what is it, an attorney?
She's really, it's a student.
You're right. As long as they had somebody that's licensed working with them. But I wanted to ask her, and I forgot to ask her, did she feel as though they gave her an advantage when she sat down to take the bar by getting that experience? Because some people come straight out of law school and they recommend, they say, you better go take the bar right now while you got all this academic stuff while it's fresh in your head. And some people say they get so much information in law school so fast that it's almost like Teflon sometimes. It just doesn't stick. That's why I guess people spend nights staying up studying.
Right. The people that I graduated with, we were all returning students, so we were older. We weren't 7-Elevens, you know, so we had jobs and went to school at night, so we did not, we wouldn't know what that experience was like. But studying for the bar, I have a couple of people that are in law school now and trying to figure out what is it that I should do in order to study for the bar. I used to talk to my students about that at Chicago State too. How, you know, because I think that is the fear that some of our students have, or some people have, about going to law school. But like I always told them, that's just an obstacle in order to make you not want to do it. Fear would make you not want to do it. But I have always said, and I will continue to say, that law school is not hard. It's time consuming, and that's the difference.
Is it more reading or writing? Or, because even at this point in my, I never considered law school because I had challenges with writing. So anything that required writing, I always tried to avoid it. And that's why some people say I became a good communicator, because I was the kid in 5th grade that when nobody wanted to do an oral report,
you did it.
I did it. You know, when they needed somebody to go downtown in 8th grade to talk on the behalf of the school, they get Ronald. Same thing happened in high school. Same thing happened in college. So I had this fear of the writing piece. So is it essay questions or multiple choice questions or a combination of both?
It's a combination for the bar exams. I think it's a lot different from when I took it, but there's a writing portion, and then there's a multiple choice portion. But, you know, over the years, you always hear the African Americans, you know, we have a problem with writing, we can't write. Can you believe that with my background that people have the audacity to question whether I know how to write? And I sit back and, you know, I smile because my writing experience has been so varied for all of these years. And then you have someone who had a little legal writing class that sits up and decides if we're going to recommend you for a judge, and then try to determine if somebody like me can write. I wrote speeches for people. I was a television producer, writer, wrote my own stories. I've written articles. So you can't tell me that I don't know how to write. But sometimes when you're in school, you may have teachers that will tell our children that you can't write. And that, you know, it just perpetuates
Right.
It perpetuates. But I think that we as a people are some of the most vivid people that know how to describe and tell. And we're good, very good storytellers. We can write.
Right. So before we run out of time, you are running for the appellate court.
Running for the appellate court, yeah.